Chicago mayor is facing a lot of criticism as the migrant spending is approaching close to $300 million. Guys, Mayor Brandon Johnson right now is not popular in his own city of Chicago. The dude was voted in and now everyone wants him out. In fact, if you just ask any resident in the middle of Chicago about, hey, how do you guys feel about the migrant crisis? Do you guys like it that the government is spending $300 million of your taxpayer dollars? All the Chicago citizens say no, right? From the richest to the poorest, everyone is frustrated about the migrant crisis. People are saying, oh, Chicago could spend $300 million, but they won't spend a single penny in terms of combating crime or spend a single penny at improving the South Side. When I tell you guys that if they spent $300 million in the South Side of Chicago combating crime, increasing local businesses, and building affordable housing, for example, and making the roads and infrastructures nice, the South Side of Chicago might even be a really nice place to live. And I'm not even joking. That's the power of $300, $400, $500 million. You could change whole entire zip codes and communities and pretty much get some entrepreneurs going. But instead, Chicago, I'm going to try to spend that money on the migrant crisis. And things are going to get a lot worse because it seems like Mayor Brandon Johnson may just be doubling down. Check this out. Mayor of Chicago wants 700,000 more migrants to enter the city. When you look to Chicago, they have about 50 to 70,000 migrants. This is a lot of migrants for Chicago, and I'm not even sure they can even take care of the current amount of migrants. He's asking for 500,000 work permits. Goodbye, American citizen jobs. Now, Booker T. Jones says she's in the city, and she's been looking around, asking around by the migrant crisis. And let me tell you guys, many people are not happy about this. And pretty much Mayor of Chicago is like, let's get more people in here. Let's get 700,000 more people. Guys, Chicago only has a population of 2.1 million. You're asking to increase by 33% of its original population, with most of them not getting these work permits. And even if we do get these work permits, I'm not even sure if the American citizens are going to be getting any jobs. So that's what's going on. This is what a lot of these migrant cities are doing. And people have been asking, what's the whole point of playing the migrant crisis? What's the whole point of spending $300, $400, and eventually $1 billion on the migrant crisis? What do the average Americans get? They get absolutely nothing, right? This is why a lot of Americans are really frustrated by the migrant crisis, because cities are just going bankrupt. Cities are willing to go broke, spend every penny on the migrant crisis, but they just won't spend a single penny on everyday Americans. And now you have a lot of Chicago citizens. Let me tell you guys, many Chicago citizens are really turning their backs on the current administration. And you have this woman who is a hardcore Democrat in Chicago, and she's literally attempting a Trump rally, right? Wearing a Trump hat. And she's turning her political views around because of what's happening in Chicago in the migrant crisis. It's not just her. If you type in the Chicago City Council videos, you have a bunch of people literally going to the city council, just chewing out the mayor and the rest of the city council, basically saying all the same thing. You spend crazy amounts of money on the migrant crisis, but you won't spend a single dollar or dime on the everyday people, right? The south side of Chicago is riddled with crime. There's food deserts, pharmacy deserts, businesses can't flourish, and it's a very dangerous place to live. But what if they spend $300 million on that? It's going to get a lot better. Even Denver understands the position of being a sanctuary city. Denver went out harder than Chicago, and Denver took in more migrants per capita than any other city. More than Chicago, more than New York. They took in 40,000 people despite only having a 710,000 population. And Denver right now is buckling under the migrant crisis. They're trying to send a lot of migrants to Chicago and New York and Canada. Denver understands that sort of assignment. They're literally collapsing and they're going broke. Shelters are closing because they can't afford them. Now, what about Chicago? You're asking for 700,000 more migrants to enter the place. It's going to collapse. Chicago, it's a big city, but is it an extra 700,000 more migrant big city? I don't think so. Look at New York. They took in a total of 200,000 migrants and the whole city's going bankrupt. This is what's going on here. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment below. Let's see what happens to Chicago. Let's see what happens to Denver and other American cities who are playing the migrant crisis. So far, it's looking pretty bad.